The second Welsh Menu live in Swansea, and it's a great pleasure to be here again because it's a part of the world I know well because I was brought up in Mumbles and the Gower Peninsula, so I'm very familiar with everything, and we of course ran the Swansea Market Festival for over a decade. My name's Colin Pressdee. You might have seen me in various books, etc., which we've produced over the years on Welsh food, and we've moved on to various other things, the latest being a guide to oysters from Britain. Okay, now that pan is nice and hot, okay, so we just put some of the soccer mix. You see it's quite thick because the lava contains quite a lot of liquid. I've kept the mix quite thick. When you're making this at home, and it's so easy to make, it's delicious. You can just make it, if you're making it plain, just think of the consistency of a cream or your normal pancake mix, which of course would use flour and eggs and milk. But this is just purely olive oil, gram flour and water, and then in with that is the lava. Okay, so there's our soccer. Slide it out of the pan, and there you have that lovely soccer. Okay, we'll just pop it there for a second so you can see. Terribly simple dish, okay? But I'll cut that up now, and Lloyd can give you a little taste. So, and I'm going to start the tortilla by cooking some bacon, which this is our Welsh element of it. So we're going to cook some bacon. This is wonderful dry cured smoked streaky bacon. It is from the market, I think probably Mr. Abraham's. And the thing is, streaky bacon is my favorite by far. I think it's got much, much more flavor because you have an even amount of fat with the lean. If you get back bacon, it's mainly lean, and I think not as tasty as the flavor of the streaky. Now you could flour the fish. Some people like to flour it. To be honest, I like it to just absolutely plain. Now, were you paying attention earlier and remembered that I said about the fish being thicker on one side, thinner on the other? So I'm going to cook it in the pan, but in order for it to cook through best, I'll be cooking it on the dark side. But what we do, we put it in first, dark side up, and we leave that. I want to color the skin nicely, because a little bit of sizzle in the skin does it well. Yeah, we can whip those out now and put the rest of the onions in there. And then, now, when I come to do the fillets, you'll see that it's a much quicker process, because that's because you've got to cook through the bone, etc. It's a thicker piece of fish to cook right through. Yeah, sure thing. Yeah. So most of the cooking will be from the underside, so we're cooking the dark side because that's the thicker part of the fish, okay? And I'll show you how exactly you tell when it's absolutely done. And yeah, put a bit more color, thanks. Right, so what has that had? 30 seconds, maybe a minute. That'll be enough. We'll just turn that fillet over now. What you can see is see the lovely color that is coming on that skin. Okay? That is sufficient. We now pop that in and it will cook through. That is just going to cook through from the dark skin. The dark skin will get really nice and crisp in the thicker part. And when you look at it, I'll show you exactly how you tell when the fish is just cooked. Because the one thing you don't want to do with fish is overcook it. tomorrow, you'll have to come back tomorrow, I'll be cooking some fish in the low cooker, and I will show you that cooking fish at 60 degrees, which is double body temperature. 90 degrees is almost boiling, so it's 2/3 of the way there. Cooking it at that keeps the texture just totally incredible. But you'll have to come back tomorrow to see that. Right, so once those are done, what you can do is just crush the spuds. Yep. Okay, you're going to just crush and roughly chop, okay? Just like that, and pop those in the pan. And lovely. Do 4. That'll be enough to make and pop that in. We'll put the shallot. So we're going to have an all-in-one Welsh breakfast here. Yep, super. Right. Now you can see here, I'm going to we have the whole fish cooking. Now we've got some fillets. Exactly the same thing with cooking the fillets, but of course we've got flesh on one side, skin on the other. Which side do I want to cook it on first? What I say, pop it in the pan, flesh side down, as though you're doing the white skin, okay? And I say just kiss the pan. Literally pop it in there for about 10-15 seconds is enough. Flip him over. You see there's color there, and yep, in they go. Lovely. So that fish is now just cooking from the skin side. We'll pop another one in as well. Now this is the white, so we'll put the, again, it's the flesh side down in the pan. Kiss the pan, that's all we're doing. We're not leaving it in there a long time. We're going to flip it over. It'll just, you can just see a nice little bit of color, but we're cooking it through from the skin. And you pop him back into the pan. Lloyd has just popped the shallots in there with the, and these are cooking in the fat of the bacon. Not a lot of fat, they're just, but the flavor, you know, that's what we have. So, we're cooking. Now, I think that has gone out again. It's not behaving itself very well. I always find this, and if Lloyd wasn't here, I'd be making a complete fool of myself now, because I wouldn't be able to get this going again. So I'm very glad we have Lloyd giving us a hand. Right, that's for tea, and if not, we'll pop that one onto there, because that's nearly done. And let's put this, we want to give this a little bit of welly now. And so if you can get a bowl, which I think we have another bowl, and there it is, and lightly whisk 4 eggs. 4 eggs. That's going to make the tortilla. But in with the tortilla, we are going to add, to give it is Welsh flavor, some wonderful Welsh cockles. And we've got to have a little bit of lava bread in there. We can't, okay? We can't be without the lava bread. And we're going to have, of course, that lovely Welsh bacon, the eggs, and, you know, just the beautiful. The one thing I do want to get, just to finish it off, when Lloyd's done that, he'll nip out and see John Savage, great old friend who, young friend of mine, as I should say. John Savage has got the most fabulous cheese company down in West Wales, near Llandysul. He's been making cheese there for about 20 years. It must be 20 years ago I went there when I did Welsh Coastal Cookery. And we went there, and John, his wife is Dutch, and they make a lot of the Dutch-style cheeses, and one is like a Gouda, but they call it Tivy, and it really is super cheese, and he's got it in couple of flavours, but very natural flavours. He puts nettles, like a Cornish yarg. He puts lava into some. And also, being of Scottish extraction, he's now making whiskey as well, whiskey and gin. So you can even taste that on his stand. But if you can just go and ask John, he's on the cheese counter, just there, for a slice of Tivy. If he wants to send a flavoured one, because I want to finish this under the grill to give it a nice sizzle. So we'll put the grill on there. Right, okay. Now, here's our fish cooking. Now, that's only been cooking a couple of minutes. It doesn't need to do for longer than that. All we need do now is present that ready to eat. It's a terribly simple thing, but the best things in food are simple. Let's just put the whole flounder that way. We'll have one fillet one side, and we'll have the other fillet the other side. And then we put some of the onions, which have gone a little bit crispy. We'll put those over the top. And with a nice glass of wine, some new potatoes from the low cooker. There you have, you know, a really, really nice dish for supper. Nice family supper dish there. Now, I've just given that a little stir. Now in with the egg, just a whisked egg. There we are. In that goes, so our whisked egg, and we give that a stir around, and then you take it out, and what you do is that, turn it over. No, it is just slightly stuck. I think it's probably a new pan. But then slide it back in. Okay. So it's going to cook from both sides. You don't have to turn it, because what you can do at home, we're going to finish this under the grill. Rather than turning it, you could just cook it all from the one side. But that's the way they make a tortilla, is by doing it so you got it nicely colored. Because they wouldn't finish the tortilla off as we're going to, because we're going to make it into our complete breakfast. We're going to put the bacon on top now. Okay. So there's the bacon. And then the cheese. We just put the cheese on there. And now we're just going to pop that. You could, at home, you know, just grate the cheese. It'd be easier. And we're just going to pop that under the grill for a second. Yes, the grill is working. That's marvelous. Just to melt the cheese, to get it nice and sizzling. Yes, pop that back in. We're using that tomorrow. Right. Okay, so what we'll do is put this, it should slide now. What I'll do, I will just present it in there as though it's in a paella pan, because I don't know if it's going to slide out of there, but I think if we say, there we are, there is our Welsh breakfast done the alternative way. All the lovely ingredients there, and there's plenty for us to taste, so enjoy. Lloyd, thanks very much indeed for your help. Thank you to Lloyd. And it's been very good indeed. And I hope you've enjoyed this and enjoy the tasting. And as I say, if you look around, if you want to get my book, Food Wales, A Second Helping, it's called. It's all about the food of Wales. James, I know, who's cooking later today, he's used it a lot. Indeed, he even said in an interview with the Western Mail, his favourite book was Food Wales, so he's my favourite chef. Thanks very much indeed.
And Colin will be back tomorrow morning.